The Tipping Point with Mike Tipton is brought to you by Dubby. What is Dubby? Dubby is a clean energy drink that is made to give you focus with no crash, jitters, or angst like those other energy drinks have. They also have no maltodextrin fillers and don't use artificial dyes. Dubby contains vitamins, amino acids, a nootropic, and 150 milligrams of caffeine. Dubby's products are made in the USA in an FDA-inspected facility that strictly adheres to GMP manufacturing guidelines. All of the flavors are unique and custom-made by Dubby, and you'll never taste our taste anywhere else. The best part about it is they're affordable. Dubby's drinks come out to about $1 per drink, much cheaper than Starbucks or any of those canned energy drinks. To learn more, visit w.gg.com/MRTipton33 and place your order today. Use promo code MrTipton33 and save today. Dubby Energy, be better. What's going on, everybody? I want to tell you about my new friends over at Cleverman. Visit them online at becleverman.com. What they gave me was the energizing face and beard scrub along with the Cleverman face scrubber. And trust me when I say this, the energizing face and beard scrub smells amazing. Combining it with the face scrubber, making sure that your boy was looking as good and sexy as possible, opened up a whole different sensation in my face that I haven't ever felt before. I felt so clean, so fresh, and so clean, like Outcast said, and it helped me feel like I was ready for my day. Make sure you visit them online at becleverman.com and follow them on Instagram at clevermannyc. The link is up in my bio if you want to check out all the amazing products they have. Visit them online, becleverman.com. This is Mike Tipton from Tipton Sports Broadcasting, inviting you to join us on Tuesday, June 10th at Buffalo Wild Wings, 655 Sunland Park Drive on the west side of El Paso for all-you-can-eat wings. As a big fat guy, you know I'm going to be stuffing my face, so why not join me and Brandon the Iceman Cone for all-you-can-eat wings? Be sure to tune in to Fire and Ice every Saturday as we talk sports or anything else that might come to mind. At B-Dubs, enjoy the $4 house beer Wild Herd, $5 Bud Lights, and $6 Voodoo Rangers. And take advantage of their $4 Fireball shots.
Fireball.
Happy hour is Monday through Friday from 3 to 6 p.m. Be sure to try the delicious new sandwiches like the beer cheese cheesesteak and chicken parm melt. Plus, all-you-can-eat wings Monday through Thursday until June 26th. $24.99 for bone-in wings, $19.99 for boneless wings, and the fries are included. All you can eat bone-in and boneless wings Monday through Thursday, and Fire and Ice every Saturday at Buffalo Wild Wings, 655 Sunland Park Drive. It is the Tipping Point with Mike Tipton, hanging out with you here on this TIP VIP Friday. Got my guy Augustine Pimentel hanging out with us here on the show. Augustine, before we get into the soccer talk, yes, there's going to be 5 minutes, and there needs to be 5 riveting minutes in order for this to continue of soccer talk that Augustine and I are going to have. But Augustine, before we get into that, we've got a lot of stuff that we got to talk about, and it all kind of starts off with this.
SGA has it. There's about a 9-second difference, shot clock and game clock. Gilgeous-Alexander spins, pulls up, jumper. Off the mark, won't go. Rebound, Neesmith. The Pacers with a chance to win it. Final seconds, no fouls to give. Halliburton looking. Halliburton driving, pulls up, jump shot. It's good! It's good! With 0.3 of a second remaining.
How good is that man right there, just constantly doing his thing? If you look at the replay that's happening right here, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has a one-on-one. He gets himself a pretty damn decent shot, right? Like he's right there, steps back, puts it up. As soon as that went up, you kind of thought to yourself, that's game over, right? Because that's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. You had to think that was game over, right, Augustine?
Yeah, I think everybody was thinking that. And he makes that shot, what, 60% of the time, 70% of the time?
And
So,
and
but
not only he was having himself a game yesterday. He had 38 points. Like he was every bit the MVP that you expect him to be. And then you can look at that, like even that pass that happened right there with Pascal Siakam. It looked like they were having trouble passing the ball, doing all that stuff. Don't forget they had 20 turnovers in the first half to the Indiana Pacers. 20 turnovers in that first half. Moving the ball around, Tyrese Halliburton gets it right here. And all he needs, that's all he needs, is just a quarter inch, it looked like, of separation. That's good defense, man. Look at where
that's
he and that shot's being shot at. Look where the defender is. That is such good defense
he's
right
right
there.
on him.
But Halliburton doing his thing, ending that game. They were down by 16 points, Augustine, in this game. 16 points in the fourth quarter. They were down in this game. Since 1998, there have been 15 or more point comebacks in the fourth quarter in the NBA playoffs. 15 of them. This season only, the Indiana Pacers have 5. So 1/3 of those 15 belong to the Indiana Pacers.
And that speaks volumes about their mental fortitude, man. That speaks volumes about them being in the huddle saying, come on, guys, we can do it. It's only 15 points. And that's so important for a team to believe that they can do it, to believe that they can make a comeback. From 15, I thought it was a 15-point deficit or 6. Still, it's a double-digit deficit in the fourth quarter. I mean, we're speaking about the Pacers and their mental fortitude. What about the other side? What about the other side that could not hang on to that lead? That speaks volumes also about their lack of mental ability to actually put themselves in situations that demand better. And they didn't do it. Yes, they have the MVP, had a great shot, but it didn't have to come to that. They had played a whole lot better to have it come to that one shot from your 2 top players. One of them, with mental fortitude, actually got it done. The other one, yeah, he had a brilliant game. He did everything, almost everything, to make his team win, and he didn't come through in the clutch. That's the big difference right there.
I think it's inaccurate to question the mental fortitude of the Oklahoma City Thunder, right? Because we're talking about a team that won 68 games last year. They lost 14 of them. Only twice did they lose back-to-back losses all season long. Obviously, when you got 14 losses, there's not a whole bunch of stuff that you can say, okay, yeah, there's a lot of losses what we can point back to here. But the first one was back in November to the Mavericks and to the Spurs. And we're talking about like the second week of the season. So obviously that's going to be in the past. The second one was in April, a week before the playoffs started, to the Lakers and to the Minnesota Timberwolves. This is a team that doesn't lose a lot of back-to-back games. So I'm expecting them to come out in game 2 and wallop, because that's what we've seen them do. Whenever they lose a game, they come out the next game and they just absolutely beat the brakes off of whatever team it is. We saw it in the Western Conference semifinal against Denver. Saw it in the Western Conference final, dominating every game, it felt like, against the Minnesota Timberwolves. It's still Tommy Cananzo saying, yeah, we said that Indiana would win 1. I didn't think it was going to be game 1 either. I thought maybe game 3 in Indiana. I didn't think it was going to be game 1. But it also proves to me maybe I was wrong in my assessment. And I say it all the time, Augustine. I got no problems with it. I was wrong in my assessment. This could be potentially a fun and long series. That game yesterday was a lot of fun to watch. And Oklahoma City played their game. Oklahoma City was doing what they always do. SGA got 38 points, right? Like they're doing what you expect this team to do. And they still found a way to lose this game because you can never. And shame on me for thinking that you could. You could never count out this Indiana Pacers team. Like if the game is 10 points in the fourth quarter, I'm still worried because this team just does not die.
Yeah, they don't quit. They don't quit. You know, and that goes to that just as part of the organization. They don't quit, and that's something that OKC will really have problems with against the Pacers. Continue this, because what's going to happen if they go down another 10 points in the next game? I mean, they're still going to have the fear that, hey, they might come back in this, and that's when you instill that, you know, uncertainty, and that's the worst thing you can do to a player. Oh, and if a player says, I have to make this shot for sure, even though I'm winning by 12, 15, that's when things start getting nippy for the team that's favorite right now to win the NBA championship.
And they're not just favored, they're favored by a lot. Like even going into yesterday's game, the 9.5 point spread, I told you not to take that 9.5 points. I told you Indiana's not going to get blown out like that. But, man, it became Indiana's style of game, especially there at the end of the game. They started, you know, making the pace. That's what they do. They control the pace. They do all that. Tommy Cananza saying he thinks that he's got to go OKC in 6 games now instead of OKC in 5. I'm still sticking with my guns. I said OKC in 6. I think it's going to be OKC in 6. But I think you're right whenever you say there's going to be pressure there now at the end of these games. You had this team exactly where you wanted this team. You had this team where you've had a lot of teams in the NBA playoffs, right? You had your foot on their throat, and somehow, some way, they're down 16 with 8 minutes left in the game, and they came back and win this game. And I don't know if you were watching the broadcast or not, but Richard Jefferson said it like head on. He was like, the Bucks, the Cavaliers, and the Knicks all had games where they had a lead against this Indiana Pacers team, and they all blew those leads against this Indiana Pacers team. This team just does not die. And again, to talk about like how wild it is for this team, in the history of the NBA, Augustine, in the history of the NBA, 4 teams have won being down 7 points with less than a minute to go in the game in the history of the NBA. And 3 of those teams are the Indiana Pacers this playoffs. It's insane, man. They don't die. I called them a cockroach yesterday. They're a cockroach of a team. They will not die.
I can, and most of the people are not going to get this reference, but I'll go ahead and say it. It's like Joe's apartment. They will not die.
Man, you got to go deep in your bag if you remember Joe's apartment. That again, you know that I love me some stoner movies. So you know me, I know that movie very well.
Well, I didn't think it was a stoner movie. It's like, and please, everybody, if you don't know Joe's apartment, YouTube the trailer. It's one of the funniest things I've ever seen ever. Talking cockroaches is always a good thing, but you know, and this going forward is OKC going to be able to trust themselves? That's the thing. They might have the MVP, but that MVP didn't come through with them. Yeah, he came through throughout the game, but you set yourself apart, the men from the boys, in those situations. In that, you know, the final 2 minutes, the final minute, the last shot, that's when you separate the Kobe's and the Michaels from everybody else.
B. Strillo saying OKC did what all younger teams do in this situation. They were overconfident. This was an early reality check. That's right. Like, of course, you're overconfident. Like, you made it to the NBA Finals. There has to be a level of overconfidence that you have to have. But I also think what people, and I say this all the time, right? Like, my background in psychology, I love the mental aspect of the way that a lot of this stuff works. And for me, OKC is in a position that they're never in. They're the team that has the expectations. They're the team that has the pressure on them to win. Now they gave themselves added pressure because once again, you were up by 16 in this game and you found a way to lose it with your MVP having an MVP caliber game. Anytime your MVP scores 38 points, that's trouble for the other team. And instead, Tyrese Halliburton gets a rebound or gets the ball in the open court. You're playing good defense because you are one of the better defensive teams in the NBA. And he just rises up and hits a shot because it feels like, I say it all the time, the sun shines on a dog's ass every now and then. Man, the sun is shining on him 24/7, it feels like. Like this dude has hit all kinds of game winners, buzzer beaters, just shots that we didn't think were going to go in. I looked at that shot yesterday as he took it and thought to myself, there's no way. And then what does it do? It rattles in. And I sat there, peeling back the curtain on what happened to me yesterday. I had to go to the emergency room and get a bunch of shots for my back because of how bad my back spasm was. I still have the Band-Aids here on my arm from the couple of shots that I got. And I still
wait. Understand the getting shots, but you get a Band-Aid for a shot. Come on, Tip. You're bigger than that.
The VA, or not the VA, William Beaumont gave me a Band-Aid. I don't like ripping Band-Aids off, so I just left the damn Band-Aids there, right? And even with all that pain, even as drugged up as I was, maybe the court was a bunch of different colors at the time, but watching that shot go in, I jumped up and said to myself, what the F is going on here with this guy? Because most of the time that shot's not going in, and he finds a way to make all these shots, does Tyrese Halliburton.
Yeah, that's incredible what he's doing in Indiana, that, like you said, he's finding the way. And he also finds a way with his teammates. I mean, he's the leader of that team, but I've also seen him in situations where he gets double teamed and he makes space for the other guy. He understands what he needs to do. He's
a traditional point guard. He does what your point guard's supposed to do. He's in that making of John Stockton and Mark Jackson, right? Like the scoring comes secondary. Look at the amount of passes he makes. Look at the amount of assists he has without turnovers. He makes the right basketball play, and he can also kill you on the perimeter anytime he wants to. Like it's wild to me the way this kid plays. And I think he's got something to prove. Like, he's got that chip on his shoulder whenever the playoffs started and he was voted the most overrated player in the NBA, the guy that won a gold medal with Team USA but never touched the court, right? Like, he's that guy. And he's like, nah, I'm not Christian Laettner. I got something to prove here that I'm much better than that.
See, you're throwing out – I threw out Joe's apartment. You threw out Christian Laettner. Look who's calling who old. But Piggy,
I was trying to go back to like the 1972 U.S. Team and be like, who was on that team that never played?
I have no idea who was on that team at all.
I know Doug Callens was on that team, former coach of the Chicago Bulls, but I can't remember who else was on it. Now I gave myself a history. Yeah. I gotta look it up.
How about this? Who was in the USA 1972 Olympic team?
Okay, so I have the roster right here. I want to see how many of these names we know, because Jesus Christ, I don't think I know any of these names.
I know that one. Jesus Christ. Was he on that team?
So Mike Bantam was a forward on there. Jim Brewer was a forward center.
Hey, I didn't know Jim Brewer was a basketball player. He's a great comedian.
Tommy Burleson was a 7'2" center in 1972. A 7'2" center out of North Carolina State University. Doug Collins, obviously we know Doug Collins, a 6'6" guard. That's taller than I thought he was. He looks so much shorter than Michael Jordan. In those,
he's 6'6"?
Yeah, he's 6'6". Kenny Davis, a 6'1" guard. Jim Forbes, a 6'7" forward. Tom Henderson, a guard at 6'2". Bobby Jones, 6'8" forward / center. A center at 6'8" doesn't seem right to me. Dwight Jones, a center at 6'8" again. Kevin Joyce, a guard at 6'3". Tom McMillan, a 6'11" forward. So he's 3 inches taller than two of your centers. And then Ed Ratliff, a 6'6" forward / guard. I know one of those names, and I pride myself on knowing all about basketball. And I know one of those names.
Jim Brewer is a great comedian. I mean, he did some credible work with Saturday Night Live.
Our guy, the Crooked Commish, saying, "Money Mike, what's good? TC, what's up? One Ass Cheek, what's up?" Giving love to everyone that's in the comment section. I want to give a little bit of love to the Crooked Commish real quick. I was on his show, the Chicago Clubhouse Podcast. I was on that show on Wednesday. We were talking about all of the rookies that are coming into the NFL, who we would draft in fantasy, what second-year players we would pick up in fantasy, what players to be on the lookout for. So go check that out with the Chicago Clubhouse Podcast. You can check it out on YouTube as well with our friend, the Crooked Commish. He's giving you a little bit of love too, Augustine, saying what's up to you.
What's up, everybody? What's up? And thank you, everybody, for, this is what I admire about everybody that's part, that has a show and all this, just the camaraderie that you have with them and being able to go from show to show and all this, push and pull stuff. And even though I know you hate Chicago,
I don't hate Chicago.
Well, you hate the Bears, of course.
No, so this is the thing. Like I don't think I've mentioned this in a long time. I was born in Chicago, and whenever I got adopted, I came here at 3 months old.
What? You're not Puerto Rican?
I am Puerto Rican. So my mom was adopted by my biological parents or by my adopted parents. She was also adopted by them. Okay, she was adopted out of Carolina.
That's very cool.
She was adopted out of
Wait. So that makes her your sister. What?
Yeah, my biological mom is my adopted sister. That's always an icebreaker for me. Whenever they tell you like the two truths and one lie, I always bring in my biological mom is my adopted, or my mom is my sister. I always bring that one out. Man, you talk about people having weird looks because they don't understand adoption, right? But my biological mom was adopted from Carolina, Puerto Rico, from my adopted parents. She ran away whenever she was 15 years old. She had my sister in Houston. She had me in Chicago. She left me and my sister at the hospital. My parents wind up getting a phone call from the hospital. Hey, you need to pick up these kids or we're going to put them in the foster system. My dad went up to Chicago, picked us up, brought us here to El Paso.
That's
a different story. I'm telling you, man. I got. You remember Walter Alvarez from iHeartMedia? He kept telling me that I need to write a book.
You should.
Because that's the short, truncated version for all this. But I was born in Chicago. That's one of the things Brandon the Iceman Cohen and I always talk about is, going to Chicago, visiting Chicago, doing all kinds of stuff over
there. That's an incredible story, man.
But like I said, I don't hate Chicago. I just don't like the Bears. The Bears are absolute garbage. Tommy Canon's saying write a book tip. I should, dude. There's a part of me that's like, you know what? Maybe once again, the kid from Socorro doesn't get to do all the stuff that I've got to do. So I gotta maybe do that to inspire somebody. If my goofy ass can do it, you can do it.
You mean right?
No, I mean like make it to ESPN, like host my own radio show, like do all the stuff that I did. Like most kids from Socorro don't get that opportunity.
No. Tip, let's be honest here. You're not a regular guy. You've been trying to do this. You've been, and I've told this to your face. You've been doing stuff that no other person has been doing. So quit selling yourself short, and just say what it is. You've worked your butt off for it, and yes, you have. And we're everybody in El Paso and the people who followed you for the last 12 years, I think, forever. We're very proud of you. And Tommy's even prouder because you make him turn down his radio at 8:30 every morning.
I'm the worst at taking compliments, but I'll take that compliment. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. So I mentioned it at the beginning of the show, Augustine. I'm giving you 5 minutes. 5 minutes now to get us enticed in soccer or football.
Hold on. El fútbol es muy diferente.
Okay.
But here's the just ending this whole mentality thing. I think a winning mentality in sports is the difference between a great team and a bad team. To get to the NBA, to get to the NFL, to get to hockey, to get to any kind of professional sport, you have to be damn good at it. It's not that, who was the worst team in the league in the NBA?
This year,
Yeah.
the Utah Jazz.
The Utah Jazz. And you're not going to say they have some talent, because we're probably saying, the Utah Jazz, they're UTEP in the NBA, which they may be, but at the same time, we have to say the following: those players are there for a reason, and it takes confidence to know that you're going to win. Confidence isn't made from day one. Confidence is about repetition. It's about coaches doing the right thing. It's about, the front office doing the right things with the players. And you see that all the time. Once in this great while, you will have generational players. Yes, that you can see. If you had never seen basketball and you see Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Dominique Wilkins, and other players of that caliber play, even if you had never seen basketball, you would go, "Oh, those guys are good." But those guys are, generational, and those players that are the middle of the pack, which earn, 10, 15, $20 million a year, it takes confidence. And I think that's all that's missing from the lower teams to actually get to the top. It's that little bit of swagger. It's that little bit of saying, "Oh, he might jump higher, he might shoot better, he might do everything better than me, but I'm going to still kick his ass." Excuse me, Roku, sorry. But that's the thing with I mean, they're there for a reason. They're the cream of the crop. So, and I'm going to say this out loud, and I know the world's going to hate me, but even the Dallas Cowboys are good. They just need confidence. That's what confidence does to a team. To a team like even the Cowboys, where they've, there's a moniker in Mexico that says, there's two things in Mexico that people say when teams screw up. And I think some people maybe have heard the first one, the team Cruz Azul. They're famous for losing championships.
Mm-hmm.
La Cruz Azulearon. That's the verb. It's the name of the team plus, the ending. There's another verb that's coming out really bad, which La Caballero, which is doing the cowboy, which is winning is a mentality. And for example, for your beloved Dallas Cowboys, if you have the ball at the end, you're going to do something to screw it up. And maybe it's one play, like you've said before, but it's about confidence at that one specific instance.
There's a part of me that doesn't that agrees with that. And there's a part of me that doesn't agree with that, right? Like if one loss, because this is what we're talking about with Oklahoma City, that it can come back and bite them here in the rear end. If one loss is enough, like the way that they just lost yesterday, if that's enough to ruin their mental fortitude, as you point to your head, if that's more than enough to ruin their mental fortitude, then they've got some very deep-seated issues and insecurities there that need to be checked out by a professional, because it should, again, you're the top 1% of the top 1% of the top 1% to even make it into an NBA roster. You're better than everyone. The worst guy on a bench in the NBA would beat your ass at home, would beat your ass on any court that you have. And it's all about that confidence. And just like Tommy says, you know what helps bring up my confidence, Augustine?
Having happy nuts.
I just want to put the tip in.
It's time for
Just the Tip.
That would make me uncomfortable.
Promise that it ain't too much, but just enough. Just a tip. Just a tip.
Just the tip. Just the tip.
It's time for Just the Tip.
Just Tip is brought to you by www.myhappynuts.com. Go check out our friends at www.myhappynuts.com. Use the promo code Mike Tipton at checkout and save on all your male grooming needs. We're talking about confidence. Don't be that guy at the bar that's sitting at the end of the bar all by yourself looking at your phone because you know you can't talk to any girls because whenever you do, you piss your pants. Instead, go out, get yourself some My Happy Nuts. Make sure your nuts are the happiest they can possibly be. Get the comfort cream so you're not all sticky. You have the confidence. You can go talk to that torta that you want to hook up with and have yourself a great time. www.myhappynuts.com. Use promo code Mike Tipton at checkout and save on all your male grooming needs.
Torta? Really? That's what you do? Really?
Hey, the thicker the better. We all know that. Thicker than a Snicker. We were talking about that yesterday, the dad bods. I'm the dad bod god, baby.
Yeah, I got that going too. But here's the thing. This is the first time I've done the show with these incredible headphones. The bass on that is incredible.
On the song, or
I mean, no, the song. No, the song is just, I wouldn't mind hearing that again.
I just want to put the tip in.
It's time for
Just the Tip.
That would make me uncomfortable.
Promise that it ain't too much, but just enough. Just a tip. Just a tip.
Just the tip. Just the tip.
It's time for Just the Tip.
There's nothing funnier than whenever you play that and your son is standing right in the door. I got to get used to this for the summertime, man. He woke up a little bit before the show started, but he was standing right there in front of the door. Go play, buddy. Go have fun. Go watch TV. Go do whatever you got to do. But he was standing right there in front of the door as it plays, and he just kind of turns around like. Everyone talks about me being able to write a book. I can only imagine what type of books they're going to write about me as I get older.
Ooh.
They're going to be like, you have to know what this guy's life was like. Tommy Canazo saying he loves some tortas. Who doesn't? My God, all the flavor, baby. All the flavor. I call this right here the flavor saver. The Crooked Commish saying, gotta love Just the Tip. Cheers to Just the Tip.
That's an interesting take. I mean, is it cheers or is it cheers? I don't know.
I mean, depending on how much tip you're working with. Sorry, Roku. This is getting off the rails real quick. I was buttoned up. Everything was fine. Like it was good. The Crooked Commission saying getting side-eyed from your son is never good. They already know. He's 8 years old. He knows what his dad is. My 13-year-old, he knows what I am. Like they've been around this long enough. I'll be in the car and someone will do something stupid, and I'll just let them have it. Like they get the smoke. And my sons will be like, Dad, you need to stop talking like that. And I'll stop the car. I'll look at them and say, do you want some of this smoke too? Because I got no problems.
Some of this smoke. Wow.
Yeah. I don't care. The smoke goes to everybody. I don't care who you are.
That's interesting. I'll just remind myself. Just tell me when you're going out, driving out, so I can go the other way.
It's only if you do something stupid. I don't picture you as a dumb driver.
Yeah, I don't have Chihuahua plates, but that's a different story all in itself.
Okay, so I was supposed to give you your 5 minutes of soccer talk. You use that to give us a soliloquy on confidence. Now I'm debating on whether or not I allow you to talk soccer.
Well, here's the thing about soccer, and I'll tell you this much. And and I got into soccer late in life. It's not like I was a soccer fan when I was 14, 15, 16, or 17. I was actually in college when I got into soccer. And the thing is, I'm trying to pull out some of my old memories from soccer, and I can't find them. But I just saw soccer, and I was like everybody else. I said, they're just running around. They don't do anything. The scoring is so low. All of a sudden, I get into good soccer. And that's the difference. That is the major difference. It's like when you go to a UTEP NMSU game, granted it's a fine little derby. When you go to a North Carolina Duke game, it's a whole different story. And that's what happened to me. I saw a different kind of soccer whenever I started watching the Premier League back in 1998, 1999. I said, wait a second, I was accustomed to this BS soccer in Mexico where they touch the ball, they give it back to the goalie. The goalie thinks about it and he just blows it up. The first soccer match I ever saw, sat down and saw a soccer match, was a Liverpool Manchester United derby where it I didn't think people could move that fast on a soccer pitch. It was back and forth, yeah. The end score I think was 3-2, and Manchester United won. But it was continuous action for 90 plus minutes because both teams are that good. And then I started getting to Champions League. And that just went even higher up because Champions League is the champions from all the top European countries. So you got the champion of England against the champion of Spain, against the champion of Italy, against the champion of Holland or Netherlands, how people like to call it, against the champion of Portugal. And oh my goodness, that opened me up for something that was just incredible. It's like watching. It's like the comparison I gave you. It's like watching UTEP and then watching, Duke, or in your case, North Carolina. It's like watching the Chihuahuas, which is it's a great stadium. It's a great experience to go. But then all of a sudden you go watch, an MLB game. That's the difference. It's the reason why people watch NBA. You have these great leagues in Europe. Yes, great leagues. There's great basketball being played. And we see that all the time because we have these great players coming over. But it's the same thing. The best basketball is played still in the United States. Where do people want to go and play? In the United States. There's a great league in Japan, baseball league, which everybody says it's a great league. It's a wonderful league. But it's not Major League Baseball. And we can go hockey in Canada. Hockey's Canada's, pastime sport. That's their number one sport. Where do they play? NHL. Guess where? In the United States. So soccer, we can't judge soccer, but what is played here in the MLS or Mexican soccer. And you've heard me say this a bunch of times, Tip. Mexican soccer sucks. And it's so much sucks that one of their biggest champions just got beat by 14th place LAFC to go to the Club World Cup.
Hmm.
So if you're judging soccer by Mexican soccer, you're in for a rude awakening when you watch the EPL, when you watch Italian soccer, when you watch Spanish soccer. So I would just tell everyone to give soccer a chance, but give it a chance when it's the top teams.
So what games are coming up, if you know off the top of your head, or if you got to do a little bit of research, what games are coming up that you would say, okay, this would be something for you guys to watch? Because I again, like, I'm super new to soccer too, right? Like, I did PA, I was a public address announcer for UTEP women's soccer for a couple of seasons. And I thought, this is fun because it was UTEP and MSU. I remember one of the games I saw there, UTEP won 7-5. So there was like a lot of action going on right there. The crowd to me was always electric because you would have representation from like the American Outlaws. They'd have like a small group that would go out there and watch UTEP women's soccer. Then, of course, last year, I don't know if I told you this or not, I was on the sidelines whenever Club America came here to play in the Sun Bowl against what is it, FC Juarez? And that was a fun game. Like, that was fun to watch. And I thought, okay, this is, a step up in soccer. I've been on the sideline for the Locomotive watching them as well, and that's been kind of fun as well. But for me, it's like, okay, watching the U.S. national team, that's where you see a big difference in speed. And I know the U.S. national team isn't as good as a lot of these other national teams are. And when was it, last year or the year before, whenever it was Argentina versus France in the World Cup final? Was that who it was? And that game to me, that was a fun game to watch.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's an amazing, curving in quality with games in Mexico and in games in the United States versus games in Europe. And it's about confidence, about how these players treat themselves, but it's also about their upbringing in soccer. Soccer in South America, you get teams from Brazil, from Argentina, from Chile, from all these countries, and they play a different kind of soccer. That's the thing. So just for everybody's, we had an amazing game yesterday that would have been perfect for everybody to watch. Spain and France in Nations Cup semifinal, which was 5-4, 5 goals to 4, and it was just it was kind of like that experience that I had where teams were just going back and forth in a way that you saw the speed and you were like, if you've ever been on a soccer pitch, you go, "Ooh, that's big," because it's as big as a football field.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is that that game yesterday was just amazing. But let's dive in and see what's coming up in international competitions. And something that's coming up that people should have their eye on is the FIFA Club World Cup, which is June 14th, which is coming up quick, all the way to July 13th. And the Club World Cup is in the United States. I mean, granted, Tommy's going to say, but it's not popular. Well, it's popular that there was a World Cup in 1994, and then there's other events here that happen all the time because you have all these clubs from Europe coming over in the summer to show what they got. But this time, they're coming with a real competition, which is the FIFA Club World Cup. Key fixtures, some of that I can think of right off the top of my head. June 17th, it's Fluminense from Brazil against Borussia Dortmund from Germany. And if you ever look at a Borussia Dortmund game where they play in Signal Iduna Park, they fit 100,000 people for each and every single game in that stadium. And then if Fluminense is one of the historical teams from Brazil, it's going to be one hell of a match. On June 19th, you have Inter Miami against FC Porto of Portugal, which is going to be crazy, amazing. You have historical Lionel Messi against FC Porto, which is the Portuguese league, is basically a developmental league for the big leagues across Europe. So FC Porto is going to come with young kids. They're going to run at them. June 20th, Chelsea and Flamengo, an England team against a Brazilian team. June 22nd, and a lot of people from Mexico are looking at this one. It's Real Madrid, who's a top team in the world, against Pachuca of Mexico. And then June 23rd, Manchester City against Al Ain of United Arab Emirates. That's the correct way to say it. And all these games are going to be in Seattle, Pasadena, Atlanta, Miami, and they've all been sold out for the last year. So
Tommy Carranza saying, so we're going to watch AA soccer, and then going on to say 5 minutes was up 20 minutes ago. We gave you a little over 10 minutes on that, Augustine. Like I said, I'm going to be watching because I have my own selfish thing in mind of me trying to go to some World Cup games, right? Because I feel like those are going to be absolutely electric because obviously it's the World Cup. It's the biggest event there. But I also know that I got to be doing more with soccer, which is why you can check on my YouTube. I've been putting out YouTube shorts and on Instagram some of the press conference stuff that Team USA is doing. I think all my money right now is on Team USA. I know they're not going to win the World Cup, but just being represented in the World Cup is going to be fun to watch. The women's team will more than likely win the World Cup because they dominate the World Cup. But I think we can continue this conversation going. Remember, on June 10th, on Tuesday, this upcoming Tuesday, we're going to be at Buffalo Wild Wings for all-you-can-eat wings. The U.S. national team taking on Switzerland is going to be on air while we're there. And that's going to be a fun time as well. I know some of the people from the American Outlaws are going to be there, and so you can just check out the environment. Even if you don't care about the game, go out for the Buffalo Wild Wings, go out for the environment. We're going to have ourselves a fun time. Now, Augustine, we've got about 12 minutes or so left in the show. Aaron Rodgers finally decided yesterday that he wants to become a Pittsburgh Steeler. And
I will take him.
He might sign with the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's a caveat right there, that he might sign with the Pittsburgh Steelers. What are your thoughts?
I mean, if I was Pittsburgh Steelers, I would go, great. So you're going to come play for free and sit on the bench. Thanks. That's all I'll say. I mean, Aaron Rodgers has no business being on a football field anymore.
The age, the injury, what is it?
All the above. It's the age, the injury, and more than anything, it's the circus he brings with him, and that will eat away at Pittsburgh's, heart. And no, just if you're a Steelers fan, or if you're a Steelers brass, if you're watching this sports show, and I know you are, no. Tell me one good reason why the Pittsburgh Steelers, what's their roster right now?
So their starting quarterback is Mason Rudolph. Their backup quarterback is 6th-round draft pick Will Howard. It's a quarterback competition between those two guys.
Well, they obviously need a quarterback, but there's this one team that has 52,605 quarterbacks on their roster, which will release a good one. Just wait and get a good one from there.
And Kirk Cousins is still out there and could be traded from the Atlanta Falcons. Like to me, there's so many different options that you can get instead of having Aaron Rodgers out there. And like I said, it's Aaron Rodgers saying, okay, I might go sign with them this week now. Like I might go do it.
Yeah. I
just think it's, again, another Aaron Rodgers of like a play from him of trying to just be back in the spotlight. There's a part of me thinking of it from a psychological standpoint on this, right? The end is near for Aaron Rodgers. Like, he has to know the end is near, and he doesn't want to go out the way that he went with the New York Jets. And I totally understand that. I totally sympathize with that, right? But it also feels like he has no idea what life is going to be like for him after football, because I could only imagine, like, the legacy is over the last 2 years. His legacy has taken a hit, a massive hit. He went from being looked at as one of the greatest of all time to damn, like it's sad watching this guy play right now. Mireya Reyes saying, so what, Aaron Rodgers is not the confidence you were talking about, Augustine, talking about earlier, you want players with confidence. I don't think it's necessarily that he doesn't have the confidence. The skill set isn't there anymore. And like that's what's painful to watch is a throw that Aaron Rodgers would have made 5 years ago. He can't even get close to making now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you know, he's had like you've said, Tip, he's had a declining performance since 2022, where he really went downhill. And you can see right off the bat his arm strength is not there anymore. His mobility is no longer there. He's no longer. I don't think he's no longer an NFL quarterback.
That's what made him special, was his ability to get out of the pocket. Like he wasn't the fastest guy in the world, but he had mobility. He could like move around. Last year, and you know, some of it could be okay. The offensive line for the Jets was terrible. Whatever. The offensive line in Pittsburgh isn't great either, right? And like, sure, you have DK Metcalf now as a weapon, but you lost some weapons in the backfield with like Najee Harris no longer being there, with George Pickens no longer being there. Like they're kind of on this pseudo rebuilding thing is what Pittsburgh is in right now, and I don't find that to be a place for Aaron Rodgers. Like that's not a good enough team to say we're a quarterback away from being a playoff or Super Bowl contender. And that's where I think Aaron Rodgers should go if he's going to go out on it. Like if you want to go out on your terms, go out with a contending team, not the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, and the amount of money he's going to get, I think he gets a $10 million contract for 1 year, which is great for him. But I think Aaron Rodgers is like a Lamborghini Countach. It was great for his time, but now it's dated, old, and doesn't work correctly.
It was like a DeLorean.
Yeah, like a DeLorean without the time machine. That's how bad Aaron Rodgers is.
Without the flux capacitor.
without being able to put a banana in there and go to, you know.
Hold on, buddy. I'm almost done. Give me like 3 minutes.
Make him a quesadilla now.
I know that's what it comes down to. He's like, hey, can I be in here? I already made him breakfast. I'm like, come on, man. That's why I got on a little bit later. Like normally I'm on here about like 7:20, 7:30. The boys were home. I made them breakfast, made sure they had some. I don't even know if Jericho's up yet because it's the first day off of summer school or not summer school, like the first day of summer. They no longer have school. So I know my voice is traveling throughout this house right now because there's no way with all this bass it doesn't travel. And I'm like, if Jericho can sleep through this, he can sleep through anything.
Yeah, next El Paso earthquake, he'll be fine. But yeah, I mean, if you're Pittsburgh Steeler brass, you're not touching that with a 10-foot pole. Age, durability are gone. There's no value to Aaron Rodgers. You know, he'll screw up your locker room culture. And if you do get him, he's a short-term solution. He doesn't fit the scheme, and the offensive line is gonna. I mean, the offensive line is not good enough to protect a quarterback like that. Declining performance like crazy, and you know, and honestly, having Rodgers in there does not make them a contender at all. So the AFC is loaded. Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, which I think Joe Burrow is the best quarterback in the league anyway. Lamar, Justin Herbert. You know, DJ Stroud is in there. So, nah, don't do it. Don't do it.
So
don't do it.
I think about that, right? Like what is there for Aaron Rodgers to prove? Like other than I came back from this injury and I did good, because last season it wasn't great. Like the end of the season might have been okay, but last season it as a whole it wasn't great. And whenever they were out of games or out of the playoff contention and all that stuff, there was nothing there to play for. So he padded his stats, right? Like that's what it was, just padding the stats, doing all that stuff. I can't for the life of me figure out why Pittsburgh if I'm Aaron Rodgers, right? Like why not? Because Pittsburgh going from the Jets to Pittsburgh feels like a lateral move. It doesn't feel like you took a step up to try to get to a better team. And I'm sitting out there thinking to myself, what team could be good that maybe Aaron Rodgers can go to that can help get them over the hump? And I don't know if there's a team that's out there that would be good for Aaron Rodgers to get over the hump. So why not go to a team that's going to be fun, like a young team that has some talent around it, and maybe you can help build them up? Because right now Pittsburgh is, with or without Aaron Rodgers, I don't think they're a playoff team.
No, they're not. They're not. I mean, he's just in the NFL. If somebody does sign him, they're stupid, and he's just in it for the money now because he's got. The only quality Aaron Rodgers has in the NFL is that he has experience and that he may be a good, mentor for someone. He's what Joe Flacco should be.
Mm-hmm.
But that's it. That's it.
It's going to be interesting to watch, man. Like Tommy's hitting the nail on the head, saying the Steelers are the only ones that are interested right now in Aaron Rodgers, and it really does kind of feel that way. The Steelers are it. And I feel like if Aaron Rodgers had just bit the bullet and said, yeah, I want to go to the Minnesota Vikings earlier in the season, whenever the Minnesota Vikings were interested in him, that could have been the team to maybe be like, okay, with Aaron Rodgers, we could be some sort of contending team, right? Like it was quarterback play. Sam Darnold isn't Aaron Rodgers. JJ McCarthy isn't Aaron Rodgers. And even in Pittsburgh, Mason Rudolph going to Aaron Rodgers, yeah, that's a step up, right? But that's not a team that's going to be competitive. At least Minnesota, this was a team that won 14 games last year. You can say maybe, just maybe, we could have done something. And it feels like Aaron Rodgers just sat at home on his ass, drinking as much ayahuasca as he possibly could to be like, you know what? I could have avoided all of this. Like all of this drama could have been avoided back in February if he had just said, I'm going to the Steelers. Why wait till June? Why wait till now?
Because he's a jackbutt. Saying it nicely.
A jackbutt. Man, but
yeah,
and again, like you got to remember, there was talk out of that locker room in Pittsburgh that was like, look, dude, you want to be with us or you don't. Don't be stringing us along. And that was from the defensive ends, right? That's from like Cam Hayward and them boys that have been on that team, putting in all the work that they've done for a long time. So it's going to be interesting to see how he's welcomed in Pittsburgh. All right, Augustine.
He's not welcome. He's not welcomed.
We're up right now at the end of the show. Augustine, I want to thank you so much for being a part of today's show. Getting someone out there, Augustine, is going to watch a little bit more soccer just because of you telling them how great soccer can be.
Tommy.
I don't know if it's Tommy, but I feel like somebody out there might do it. All right, everybody. Once again, we will be out at Buffalo Wild Wings tomorrow for Fire and Ice. Check that out. It'll be at noon here in El Paso, 2:00 Eastern for those that want to watch on the East Coast. And we will see you all then. Don't forget Buffalo Wild Wings on Tuesday for all you can eat wings. Augustine, I'll talk to you later, my brother.
Talk to you later. See you Tuesday.
This is Mike Tipton from Tipton Sports Broadcasting, inviting you to join us on Tuesday, June 10th at Buffalo Wild Wings, 655 Sunland Park Drive on the west side of El Paso for all-you-can-eat wings. As a big fat guy, you know I'm going to be stuffing my face, so why not join me and Brandon the Iceman Cone for all-you-can-eat wings? Be sure to tune in to Fire and Ice every Saturday as we talk sports or anything else that might come to mind. At B-Dubs, enjoy the $4 house beer Wild Herd, $5 Bud Lights, and $6 Voodoo Rangers. And take advantage of their $4 Fireball shots.
Fireball.
Happy hour is Monday through Friday from 3 to 6 p.m. Be sure to try the delicious new sandwiches like the beer cheese cheesesteak and chicken parm melt. Plus, all-you-can-eat wings Monday through Thursday until June 26th. $24.99 for bone-in wings, $19.99 for boneless wings, and the fries are included. All you can eat bone-in and boneless wings Monday through Thursday, and Fire and Ice every Saturday at Buffalo Wild Wings, 655 Sunland Park Drive.